Okay, go.
Welcome to episode 22.
1 minute, let me check. I think you're wrong.
I'm always wrong.
24.
24. Classic mix-up.
I think you do it on purpose at this point.
I do it on purpose. It's kind of a thing.
Just to see if you can get a rise out of Jesse.
Yeah.
I don't care.
So we have Greg Ryan out of studio. We kind of wish at this point we were in studio, but yeah, he lives kind of on the other side of the state from us, and we're trying the StreamYard approach. So bear with us.
Yeah, it normally works fine, but we'll see. We'll just go with it.
Yeah, I definitely live in the boonies of Iowa County, so I'm not even using my Wi-Fi. It's not worth it. The cell service is better than Wi-Fi, so that tells you anything.
So how far away from Iowa City are you?
35 minutes straight west.
Okay, not too far.
It's about equal distance from Cedar Rapids or Iowa City. So,
okay, cool. Did you get a lot of snow?
I didn't measure. It's blowing so much, but I think it's got to be in that foot range if you split the average. But holy cow, when was the last time we had a snow like that?
It's been a minute. It's going to keep snowing. It's snowing here right now, so it's probably coming towards you guys.
Yeah, I drove home in the snow. It started snowing like 10 minutes before I shot that doe, and I'm like, this is kind of cool. Fill my tag and be done.
Yep, last day of season.
Yep.
So
Dude, did it not go like that?
It was
and
fast.
I only have like 6 tags I didn't fill, so
That's your own fault. You filled 6.
yeah, it was. I just didn't have the luck with the does with the bow that I normally do. I bought a couple for Polk County, and they chisel plowed the field, so the deer never came out there again. I got one farm. I guess I could have went over to Jeff's and filled a doe tag, but he was hunting and you were hunting and Jace was hunting, so I'm like, no, I'm not. I don't need to shoot a doe right now that bad. So
Yeah, your freezer's full.
not really.
Yeah.
I got rid of all my hides and my coyotes and stuff, so I got room.
Well, you could do that late season. I guess season's not over, but as of tomorrow, if there's any counties available, I think they have that late January season.
See, now if you could roll over your tags that you didn't use into it, I might be more inclined to do it. Like I have an archery tag, like 2 archery tags for Decatur. If I could go and even if it was still archery, and you didn't use a rifle, I might go once or twice. But
yeah, with the deer numbers the way they are, I'm kind of glad that that's not actually something. Just because
it's so spotty though. Like you say that, and I've seen tons of deer. But finally Decatur didn't get hit with EHD. Normally they're the first ones to get hit, and we just didn't get it this year.
Around here, like all gun hunters, everyone you talk to, just the amount of deer numbers are just the deer density's down. So
yeah, we saw that during shotgun season that it was definitely down, but on the couple farms that I hunt over there, I didn't. During bow season it was fine. During this late muzzleloader season, once we got a little bit colder, it was fine. I mean, I think when I shot that doe tonight, there were 4 or 5 other mature does with her, so, and it's a farm that doesn't hold deer. It just has a little brassica food plot on it.
I can't say I saw less deer in volume, but one thing I can say is my returning bucks that I was hoping would be hit listers went on the decline. Did you guys see that at all? A couple of them for sure went backwards, but there were also, with one of those, for sure an injury involved where the neighbor shot high on one and he lived. So that could be something to do with that. But I definitely had older deer that went down in rack size. You guys have that at all?
Similar, I think it's farm dependent, but I don't know. I had a lot of solid deer to chase this year, and was very fortunate to harvest the ones I did. But
You think?
yeah, it was a good year. But no, I overall I would say it was more average than anything. Just the lack of during the rut, not seeing what a lot of people didn't see much, including myself, just because one, it could be EHD, and two, just maybe the farms are just a little different this year with crop rotation. I don't know. It was a weird year for sure. So, but
Yeah, I
Go ahead.
didn't really see anything like mind blowing. Like, oh well, this deer. I saw a lot of deer gain a little bit, but no huge jumps and no really fall off. It was just kind of a blah growing year, I guess. Deer putting on maybe 8 to 15 inches, where you would like a jump from 4 to 5 or even 3 to 4 that put on like 20 plus inches. That 130 that you passed last year to show up and be 145, 150, and that didn't really happen on any of the deer that I had pictures of from last year.
Yeah, TW is more that outlier that jumped 30 inches plus. That was, and then a few other deer that really did that 10 to 15 inches, but nothing besides him, nothing crazy.
Yeah, and that's probably just his
But
genetics. That's he was probably that frame and that whatever, he was probably just, it was bound to happen. You talk to a lot of these guys and that know a lot of deer, and they say most deer have one big jump, whether it's 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 6. Most of them have a 1 year that's significant, and it just, every deer is different.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors that, especially free ranging deer, that involves, and you can't, every year is different. So that's why
Yeah,
it's better than others. Just this is maybe a down year. Maybe next year will be even better. So
I was going to say, hopefully that means upturn next year. So that's pretty exciting, especially for me. I didn't really hear of that many really memorable deer getting killed here. Of course, I don't. This area is a little different than what I think both of you guys hunt, but it's you hear about it when big deer get killed, and it was down for sure, just in general. So that makes me excited about next year. I
yes,
got
sir.
a lot of up and comers that I stuck with passing. So that feels good to know all those are, as long as they made it through today and make it through the winter, they're going to be right there next year. But
Now your season was pretty good. It started out by, was it your brother-in-law or who you got your name
I would
here?
I would say, if I had to summarize this season, it was about putting family first for me, but still was lucky enough to have it pay off with some few strategy sits, but then still was fortunate enough to take my rutcation. But yeah, so pregnant wife, very pregnant wife all through the rut. Uh, Still got to take my 10 days, and it was getting to the point where it was either just eat the archery tag or fill it. And somehow in the final moments that deer stepped out and he was going down. So, and then shortly after, we're getting to the end of the pregnancy, where I think I had a doe tag for second season shotgun, sat with my cousin, and our goal was to get video of two does getting shot at the same time. And we counted down. We had the perfect setup. Counted down 3, 2, 1, and mine moved, but he shot. He dropped his, and mine took off. And the video is no good. Otherwise, you guys would have seen it by now. But so yeah, besides that one sit during shotgun, I think I sat 3 times during late muzz, and I'm pretty good at being patient late muzz and waiting until the time's right. And I kind of know when to hunt my food plots and stuff. And we had our daughter Ayla on the 22nd, and you'd have a week or so of making sure that every ounce of focus is on her and our 3-year-old. So we did that, and then the family finally came to town late. Being so close to Christmas, we pretty well said we're putting Christmas aside. We're gonna have our baby and then make sure that the family can come over, and we'll do Christmas as late as it has to be. It might be mid-January. So the in-laws came over the 2nd of January, I think, and my brother-in-law was a big bow hunter there from Woodbury County, clear up by Sioux City. And I asked him, I said, do you want to go hunt? Go get you a tag? And hung the bow up, like I said, 20 years ago, and he was all for it. So we went, and our mission was, I bought him the tag, I bought him the license that he hadn't had in so long. We were gonna go kill a doe, and he's pretty easy task, right? Well, we go sit, and with the understanding of just, I know that there's only one really deer that I want out of that area. My cousin and I agreed on that, and it was the deer I ended up shooting, and he was the first deer to step out. So we go from getting my brother-in-law all amped up to shoot this doe to give me the gun, he's right there. And completely stole his thunder, but he loved it, and it was an awesome time just hanging out with him and being able to be lucky enough to just get out and go while we're in the process of our first few days with a newborn. So it was awesome. And we went the next morning and then the next night before they went home, and at a place that you might see 30 does, and we did not see a mature doe. So I couldn't seal the deal for him. He was on a couple twins I had been seeing all season long that just dumber than a mouse, and they came out, and he was ready to shoot one, but I was like, let's wait, we'll have a mature one, and no mature deer came after that. So I'm hoping next year we'll close that story down and maybe can reference some of the stuff we did this year. But yeah, for me it was about killing my hit list or deer, which was, I think, the oldest deer I've ever killed, and the one that has a lot of history with his injury that you guys saw. I showed you guys that clear before season, I think, and but I think, like, the true meaning of hunting is getting people outdoors and being with family, and for me that was the summary of this year, is family first, but then also getting to enjoy it with the family. And I see you guys taking your kids out. My little Gavin's 3, and I just can't wait. I got probably a couple years before I'm doing what you guys are doing, but I can't wait for it.
Fun. Jace, I picked him up from daycare a couple days ago, and he's like, "Dad, is it shed hunting season yet?" So, oh, it's getting close, buddy. So the sheds are starting to drop, and he's looking forward to that. But it is fun. I got to watch Jesse do that with both Sophie and Charlotte until Jace was old enough, and I watched their success, and then I got to take him, and he shot his first doe, and it is great getting out with family. I do agree with that. That's kind of why we do it. And like, my father-in-law went out tonight, and I was rooting for him to shoot the split G2 buck, and just he shot a good deer, and it's fun just having that camaraderie and with family. So yeah, looking forward to it. Can you tell us a little bit about your setup with trail cameras, and maybe how those trail cameras helped you, keep an eye on the farm?
For sure. So I took a pretty big leap this year. I don't know. I'm kind of the 10, in years past, 10 cell cameras and a bunch of non-cell cams. This year I decided was going to be the year. My time is valuable. You learn that as you get older, and I said I'm 100% cell. So I went from having 10 cell cams and 15 non-cell to I didn't even put an on sell out this year. Had 25-ish total. Wild game, muddy, and stealth. And I pretty much put them in the spots that I know and love to put them in. And one of my biggest things is my area is a lot of draws and a lot of small tree lines and passer through areas. I don't have as much opportunity to hunt the big properties that hold deer. It's more of a pull the deer to me. And so I'm pretty big on the food plots and stuff that seems to be somewhat close to the property lines. But I pretty much have half a dozen I never shut off. Just, I don't know. I like to see deer,
Yep.
even if they're a bunch of does and a coyote and a fox. I got a red fox that runs around here right behind where we're sitting right now, and I don't know. They're just all the data. I'm an engineer and I like to collect data, and without having cell cams, I don't know how we'd ever be as successful as we are. It's
Yeah.
just
I think
crazy.
this question kind of goes for both you and your setups because you both do the food plot thing with blinds. And as of now, it's like you put one trail camera out on a food plot. Well, you have to put another one at the other end and then one in the middle. And now with Stealth Cam coming out with this new 360-degree camera, as an engineer, what's your take on it, Greg? As far as, hey, let's stick a camera right in the middle of this food plot. We're covering everything now, and we don't have to put 4 or 5 cameras out. What's your thoughts?
I've been waiting for that for a long time. Everybody knew it had to happen at some point. I mean, we've all done the thing where you put a post in the middle of the food plot and you basically got 3 or 4 of them kind of almost glued together in a little bundle. Yeah, I think having that is going to be huge opportunity. And I don't know if you heard me kind of grilling Duncan on the page of, does this mean that you're good, the cost of having it, the subscription is going to cost more? Because I mean, that would have taken me 3 or 4 cameras to do what that camera is doing now. And when he said no, I mean, I was pretty jacked about that, because one would think, that's got to cost more. But it's going to be a game changer in food plots for sure.
Yeah, I think it'll change it into you'll just get more pictures, because like late season, what I did was, so where my corn is, it's a long field. It's probably 100 yards long, I would just guess, where the actual food is. So I had those muddy dual camera mounts. Had one up at one end, one in the middle, then one towards the back, and I had cameras facing both ways. So I had 6 cameras on that food plot. Whether or not you could do that with one, you'd probably still need 2, just because of how big the plot was. But instead of running 6 and having 6 cell plans, now you have 2 and 2 cell plans, and you're going to get the same amount of coverage. So I'm pretty excited to see how it works. Hopefully we can get our hands on a couple when they get back from the ATA show.
The aspect with, we like pretty pictures, but we also like different angles. And, when you go move a camera, it's like you move it and like, oh, that's a cool picture with, the background. And now this is getting you, 4 different angles with one camera. So you're going to have, more options to share pictures and to show those different aspects. And I like that.
I'm curious on the video, because it does video, right?
I don't know. But
I thought in the commercial it did video. I mean, that would be cool if you catch a deer walking over here and the lens just follows it.
Yeah, I never thought
That
about
would
that. That'd be sweet.
that would be awesome. Like, that would be amazing.
It will. As an engineer, you got to have a pessimistic side on some things. It's the first to market, and there'll be some things that we'll have to work through for sure, but just some things that maybe people aren't thinking about, or just how you need to mount it level. If false triggers are still a thing, you'll have them from 360 degrees now. Um, Battery life, more moving parts, and all that stuff, I think will be everybody's concern that we'll have to work through. But I know that the way Stealth Cam works is we'll get those addressed and keep improving. But I mean, you got to be innovative. You have to be innovative, and something this innovative coming to the market is pretty impressive. And as if Stealth Cam wasn't already on the map, I mean, it's not just being the first to do something. I had the Stealth Cams that took 35 millimeter film that I had to develop, and that was like this big breakthrough back in the day. And just to see innovation, and it's still coming from the same company, is pretty big in the game, and it's cool to be a part of for sure.
Yeah, and now with that being said, we're talking about one particular camera. We can't really discuss the other options, at least maybe till the end of this week. We'll see if those come out, but there's some really cool things that they're trying, and I'm excited. I know Jesse's very excited about that one in particular. Greg,
Yeah. I would assume after ATA that everybody will
yeah,
it'll all get dropped, and then we can go into detail a little bit more. Like I said, I'm anxious to get my hands on a couple of these because
gonna be sweet, little game changer for quality wise, and
it's just I turned a bunch of mine off today. I was like, last day of the season, but I kept them all on my farm, like all of them there. I'm still waiting for a couple deer to show up. I called the farmer about alfalfa this morning. Go get some bales and start feeding.
Yeah, I told Jace
Yeah.
this go out and put some alfalfa out and fill up the Boss Buck feeder. Got a 600 pounder, so I got to get 600 pounds of corn. My goal is to get that big split 2-buck. He's been going about 1.5 miles a night, which is, I mean, I guess the guy's feeding him in his backyard, and he's getting picked. It's we'll see if I can keep him around, and maybe he'll drop his antlers. But
Is he going? Is he heading over by that farm I got over there at all, or no?
No, he's going the other way.
Otherwise,
yeah.
I feel like some of our conversations of you guys that hunt by each other, I need to come get permission, maybe in between both of you, and see how that goes.
Come on over.
Man, if I had, I shouldn't, I'm not going to call anybody out, but if I had like-minded people around me, don't take that for granted ever. I have my family, obviously we're on the same page, but man, stuff happens. You just, oh, what do you do? One couple few neighbors in particular, we're all kind of over here together doing our thing, and then there's just some crazy stuff that you don't want to see happening.
Apparently I'm that neighbor.
Oh, jeez.
I am. I'm the one neighbor on the block that just shoots 5-year-olds, I guess.
Yeah,
do not let that get to you, because
I'm over it. It's a joke.
That's
at this
ludicrous.
Point.
Yeah, you shoot it.
I
Yeah.
mean,
if you're gonna complain about someone else and what they're shooting, you should go jump in the sandbox and play with yourself, because it's ridiculous. You shoot what you want. It's your tag. Whatever makes you happy at the end of the day. And people are going to get butthurt over stupid things, and let them do it. Is what it is.
That's my philosophy this year is I'm over it.
We've all done stuff worth getting reprimanded for, not ethically, but oh man, I maybe shouldn't have done that because it was a buck I wanted to see next year, or whatever it was. That, Jesse, is not one of those. Trust me. So whatever you hear from anybody else, that is not one of those cases.
They kick rocks. Who cares what they think and what their opinion is?
Yep. I might just lower my standards from now on that farm.
It's
Hey,
your biggest deer. What do you expect? I mean,
Right. Yep.
that would be,
And the thing is, I get it. I get where everybody's coming from. And like I said, I don't even care at this point. Like it bugged me at first, and it took me like maybe 2 or 3 days, and then I just was like, nope. I don't even know why I let it bother me, and I don't anymore. At this point, it's a joke.
I'm gonna shoot whatever I want.
yes, sir. As long as it's legally and ethically.
Yep.
Well, I think that was both.
Yeah, and on film.
Yep.
I'm not passing that deer any day.
I mean, that'd be my biggest deer by far.
Yeah, and
One of
and,
these.
and the funny thing is, I've gotten a bunch of different comments over different platforms about fixing it. You know, because I said in the video I was going to fix the broken tine, and half the people are like, yeah, I mean, you got pictures of the deer, why not? And the other half's like, well, that's stupid, it doesn't count. I'm like, who says it needs to count? I'm not trying it to count anything. It's not like I'm putting it in any record book and trying to, you know, get one over on Boone and Crockett. This, is besides it being at the Deer Classic. After that, it's going to go right there on the wall.
And who cares what they think?
Yeah.
You know how we would get people to walk by our booth is if you fix that tine, and I want to see it be 21 inches, maybe.
Right. Yeah, just twice as long as all the other ones. Be like, this is what it looked like.
Yep.
5 drop tines. This is how it was.
Yeah, I hope some of those social media people want to stop by and have a conversation, because just it is ridiculous the amount of negative comments. You know what my mom taught me? You can't say anything nice and don't say anything at all. And that goes for 90% of the outdoor people. I mean, as far as commenting, who cares? Like, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything. Just scroll on by.
Yeah. And there's, and I've talked to a couple of people about it, I'm like, I'm the first one to openly admit I'm super opinionated about a lot of things, and I've brought it back. And there's certain people we can joke with. Like I had like there's a couple of guys that will push each other's buttons on football and whatnot. And it's all, if it's coming from the right place, it's fine. But to have some random person that doesn't matter at all, like get super pissed about something like a deer or a football game or whatever, it's just ridiculous. It's like,
Yeah. Answers,
I
but basically, trying to put someone down as a complete other. Like,
that's the thing, and that's, I don't have any time for it, and not.
Yeah. Some people just need to keep their opinions to themselves.
Yep.
So we only get one shot around the sun, so let's keep this, keep it clean and keep it fun. And the reason why I deer hunt is not to have people comment and negative things. And I've been to the point where I want to delete social media because the amount of stupid stuff I see on there, comments.
Yeah.
So we'll keep it light. Podcast wise, I think dropping every Sunday. We're doing pretty good. Greg, you seem to clear up too on your end a little bit.
Yeah. Come and go.
I don't know. Must have got some priority from good old T-Mobile.
So what's your after season thoughts as far as, you got any deer that you're gonna try to put out some feed and see if they're around? Or
I'll do that regardless. Just to take inventory. There's no better time to take inventory than right now. See what made it and whatnot. But yeah, there's several I would like to have the sheds too. I don't know if I'm doing it wrong, but I'm just not that great at shed hunting. I did, I don't know, I didn't keep track of miles, but a lot, measurable amount. I would say I found 20 sheds last year, which
That's
I
good.
averaged. Yeah, I mean, so if I average it, I don't know what that'd be, but enough miles to to make it worth it.
get some
But none of them were the sheds I was wanting to find, except one, which I think is in that pile somewhere. But I don't, I didn't see that deer this year unless he made a drastic change. He had a really characteristic thing on his left side, whereas between his 3 and his 4 just turned into a pomaded weird, I don't know, almost like a mite or something. Changed his rack, and that deer is nowhere to be seen this year. So not sure what happened to him. And I looked really, really hard for one particular deer set that my cousin killed. You guys might remember that story.
Yeah.
Never found that one either. That would have been really cool to have for his story, but I think that might have been another one that was just right off of home base, was right off of our farm, and that makes it hard to find them. And I should mention, as far as keeping tabs on how many, I get asked how many EHD deer have you found and this and that, and I am one where I do not step foot in there unless I'm gonna hunt or do something absolutely necessary. Just because, like I said, all these creek lines and small tree lines and a little corner here that's not farmable for it, so it's just grown up in brush. Uh, you blow a deer out of there, and there, the next little group of brush might be half mile away. So that's one thing I'm pretty good at, and I maintain that through shed season. So that's why the cameras are so important for me, is just to know when are these deer shedding, before I go blow them out and do the same thing you do during season. But besides, and I will like make this mental list of, all right, next time I go there, I got to replace batteries in that camera. I got to go trim lanes in that stand, and I try to like hit it so that I don't just every day go do something that blows deer out or whatever. But I mean, we all know you can play that game.
Yeah.
You can play that game multiple different ways. You can acclimate the deer to people. My approach is just, if you don't have a necessity to be in there, just stay out of there. It's not a, it's, if you're gonna commit to hunting it, it's not a place to go sledding. It's not, you go do that at a different place. It's not a place to just go ride the four-wheeler. It's you're committing to, and I do all of that, and still, it's just, it is what it is as far as uh, the amount of deer I see. I mean, it's sometimes pretty slow, and the things that you could accomplish in different areas versus here, uh, if they did that everywhere, you can only imagine what it'd be like, I feel like. So
What about you, Jess? You can put out your boss buck feeder, fill it up.
Yeah, I have it on my uncle's now, back in the timber, where I usually keep it in the summer, but I think I'm going to move it on my farm. Um, like I said, I got a hold of the farmer. I got bales from last year. They're not pure alfalfa, but they're probably 75%. I mean, they're pretty good. Not horrible price. I'm going to go pick up 8 to 10 of them Sunday, and hopefully first part of the week go put 5 on mine and 5 on my uncle's. I need to make sure he's not going to do that late rifle season. I think he's done, but yeah, just keep them there, get them through inventory. See if they'll drop some sheds close, and it's it's gonna be interesting. Like I said, my farm, it's this spring is when it's gonna start, and I'm gonna be like the exact opposite of what you just said, Greg. Like leaving stuff alone. Like I can't. I have to get in there, and I'm going to have to do everything, and I'm going to try to do it as fast as I possibly can. I got dirt work that needs done. I need all the CRP's got to get planted. It's got to get mowed. Trees got to get planted. All, food plots got to get disced up and redone. Blinds got to get moved and put up, and tree stand stitched. I'm going to try to do it all, before June. Like that's like my cutoff date, is to have everything done by June. So when the fawns are really dropping, I can stay out of there and don't have to, I'll mow my clover, and I'm gonna have to mow the brand new CRP at least twice, I believe, and yeah, I'm excited. Like I'm more excited for that than anything. Like
Heck
I,
yeah.
that's where I shot the doe tonight, was on that farm, and it's one of those where they don't live right there, but there's a lot of does right there. Like I had a picture a couple days ago of like 7 or 8 or 9 mature does, and then I sat it one day. I can't, was it first part of late muzzleloader or last part of bow season? I think I was trying to fill a doe tag, and I had like 14 mature does in that food plot, and I'm like, that's a lot of does, So
Yeah, and
you know,
that farm is, it'll be good in 3 to 4 years, but you're just gonna have to get to that point to where it's kick ass, and I
yeah,
think
I'm hoping I can fast track it a little bit, and my goal is to have everything I want done in 2 years.
yeah, you
I
can't fast track natives though. That's
Yeah.
one.
Oh, yeah. No, that's the thing. Like I can do everything else I need to do with,
Yep.
tree planting and water and crossovers and all these things. I can get all that done. My goal is 2 years, and then just maintain the healthy grass and let the CRP do its thing, and hopefully that'll be we'll get good rains. Hopefully Mother Nature helps me out, and if we can get the rains and stuff like that and get for a couple good growing summers, it will go faster than normal. So hope so.
Yeah, that's a different that's a completely different thing, making improvements. I mean, obviously you have to get in there to make improvements. That's definitely not what I was talking
Oh, I
about,
know.
leaving it alone. But
Yeah, no, yeah, I know. And then there's spots once I get this stuff done, I'm not going to go in there. Like the cedar thicket, it's the only real thick part of the farm. I got to stand in there already. I have to do the dirt work to access it. So if I want to mow the little clover plot in there or whatever, I can get a 4-wheeler across this huge ditch. That's the dirt work I need done. But once that's taken care of, like I'm gonna let the cell camera soak, and as soon as they say, "Hey, you need to get in there," I'll get in there. I mean, I tried to hunt that Big Ten in there once, and you have to have a west wind. And when you get a west wind, you go sit it. It's bulletproof, and hope they slip up.
Yeah, back to the postseason talk. Um, yeah, I got my 600-pound boss book feeder's been laying down in the grass, like in the timber. I just push it over after I'm done with it, and I went to grab it like before season started. I'll bring it back to the house here, and wasp just flew out of it. So I won't have that problem now, but it's there set up. It's in the grass. Just got to prop it up and throw some corn in it. So my favorite thing about feeding deer like that, it limits the amount of raccoons trying to get in there and get that feed. It's cold out now where they should be, kind of hibernating, but I'm looking forward to seeing what's around, and we'll see. We'll probably post some pictures on our social media as soon as we get some intel and see who made it through. So
Yeah. I mean, that's the biggest thing now. As of right now, everything's hit list for next year. Looking forward to next year and finding sheds or whatever we're trying to do. So
start the story now. It's going to be fun. We had a really good year. Kind of looking back, I don't know how many videos you end up editing as far as deer hunting. Had to be
So
quite.
I just went through that earlier yesterday. So I looked at the play. I can go to the playlist, and so we have 20 videos this year, and I still have Greg's I need to edit. So we will have 21 or 22, and then I believe last year we ended up with like it was less than that, 18. So three or four more than last year. You know,
Better quality.
better. A little bit of both. There were some big deer killed last year also, but definitely I think we had bigger deer killed. We had two over, that 190 mark. And then there was another in the 80s, and then one or two in the 70s. So, I mean, that's pretty good.
yeah,
Not bad.
all things considered, and there were lot of lot of other things too. We had guys kill this year that didn't kill last year, and we had people kill last year that didn't kill this year, and that's just one of those things that sometimes it just doesn't all work out.
Kudos to those guys, though. I mean, just for the viewers, don't forget them because I I know these guys have worked really really hard to do it, and some are more selective than others, and it just it's a grind in general to deer hunt. You add a video camera, that's another thing. You add two, three, four. I mean, when I started this season, my goal was to get 5 angles. And my first 4 or 5 days of bow hunting the rut, that's what I did. I had a stealth reactor on video mode between me and the stand. I had one GoPro facing at me, one facing away from me, and then the main camera, and then stuff I did with my phone in the meantime. And as the season goes on, well, that camera, that's too much work. That camera, yeah,
Yep.
it gets harder and harder, and you get reminded of it. But that's why I love it. I mean, I've done this. I started doing this at a really young age when not everybody was doing it, and I, to make term short, I kind of got to a point where it's like, all right, let's go back to focusing on harvesting the deer, and then maybe we'll get back into the camera stuff again. And I would say that was 20 2019. My luck started changing, and I was doing smarter things and harvesting better deer. And then to say I got bored with it isn't the right term, but I was just like, all right, it's time to bring the camera. And one of the biggest things was, we've been talking about teaching your kids about hunting and stuff. For me, that was my wife. She she totally ran with it once we started hunting together, and uh, it it goes back to 2013 when we started dating, and she was dating this farm kid that hunted, and I talked her into coming hunting with me, and we practiced shooting the muzzleloader that day. And that evening, I didn't get her expectations too high. I'm like, we're hunting what happens to be behind our house now. I didn't live here at the time. We might sit here and not see anything. Don't get discouraged. Well, this pretty nice 9 point walked out, and I was like, oh my God. And she absolutely drilled him. She shot the gun 3 times practicing for her first time shooting a gun in her life, I think. And then that night smoked a nice buck that we had mounted, and she was hooked ever since. I mean, we bought a bow. And anyways, long story short, my journey of getting back into videoing was videoing her, I think. And then I was like, well, God, rip the band-aid off. Let's do this again. And here I am. So, and it's been fun. The times have changed so much. Holy cow. Camera quality and all this crap. It's just, I mean, I remember a time when, okay, the deer can't be more than 80 yards or else you can't even tell it's a damn deer in in the camera. You know what I mean? It's just like the zoom, optical zoom versus digital. Digital zoom wasn't hardly a thing. And, you're carrying around a camera that has cassettes in it, and it's unreal what it's turned into. And the company's doing stuff. I would say that having a camera on the bow and that sort of thing has helped in the time that your main camera goes down or whatever. You'll see that in my bow hunt this year. But it's fun, and it's a new challenge. Not a new challenge, but a challenge I needed to get back to. So had a lot of fun with it.
Glad you're back. And I kind of did the same thing with Jen. She shot a really nice buck with a gun, and then I took her bow hunting, and I dropped my camera out of the tree and my bow, and I stopped filming, and then I found a way to get back into it. Well, Jesse kind of talked me back into it, but that made it easy, made it fun. Carrying my phone around and a couple of GoPros and tell a story.
You know, that is one thing I learned early on, which it's just hard to get your phone situated, but when you buy a new phone every 2, 3 years, you know, you're
Never.
that is back in the day, that was something that everybody was faltering on is keeping up with technology. You just run yourself broke. If you had to get the new HD version, you know, we went from mini DV to hard disk, hard drive, you know, solid state hard drive, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, God, I just bought all this crap and now they're telling me I need something new. Well, that's something about this team that we've been very good at is not, there's no requirement. It's capture the moment, capture everything. Um, you guys know Greg Miller. I don't want to name drop, but he basically told us if you're not keeping up on your technology, you'll never do anything. And I can't disagree more than that. You can capture the moment in a lot different ways than spending 20,000 on a camera every other year. So I would encourage anybody that's thinking about it, just yeah, start with your phone. You get a new one every 2 years. That phone takes better video than probably my camera will in a year from now. It's just nuts.
Yeah, and then the biggest thing with that is, you know, it used to be you had to have that because it was going on TV. So you had to have a minimum
Sure.
requirements of all the quality stuff. And now with social media and YouTube, like literally you can
True.
just grab your phone,
New outlet.
grab a GoPro, go and, you know, start a hunting channel. So, you know, and then everybody's got different variants. I mean, there's people on the team that have fancy DSLRs and, you know, big video cameras and all that stuff. I mean, I got a bunch of it, but you know, it's you can film anything with everything, and they're never as good as, you know, the whole story of telling the whole thing. Because if you can do that, that's a big deal. Because as far as like an editing standpoint, it's just I love the fact that it's all digital. It, you know, you can just film everything, and if you send me a bunch of stuff and I don't use some of it, then I don't use some of it. But I can't do anything if it's not there. And having everything easy at your fingertips allows you to do that. Like, I mean, I think on my muzzleloader hunt, I had video from my big camera, two different GoPros, my Tacticam FTS, and my cell phone, and I put it all in one hunt. You know, I might have done like a scan with my phone, or did a pre-hunt walk in with my phone, or, you know, the shot was, you know, obviously the FTS was through the scope. So just having all those different options and filming everything, man, you can tell one hell of a story.
And that's why we do it. Tell a story.
Yep.
Hey, that's the next thing we need to talk stealth into doing is a, a way to compete with FTS and a way to compete with mounting, you know, a solo or a 6.0 or a 5.0 under your bow. Because you guys might remember I was kind of a naysayer on that whole deal, but that thing saved my butt this year, having both through the gun and on the bow, the stabilizer mount. Being able to capture that, it's pretty much impossible to film what follows after the shot, but there's there's a lot of cool. I mean, Greg, how many years are with a stabilizer mount camera?
I had Carlos kind of save me with a stabilizer mount. Although I'm not a fan as far as quality goes, I think they should be a lot better. And I have the newer version. But I think if Chris, if you're listening, or Taylor, or Tiffany, or I think that's a great idea. Maybe you should engineer one up and we'll sell it.
I'm not that smart. I I'm the test guy, so I pick it apart once somebody else does it and tell them what they did wrong. So I think all of us would be good at that job.
Yeah, funny you say that. One of the things I always thought I'd be really good at was proof watching movies and TV shows before they actually air. I mean, how many times have you seen a goose fly and it quacks like a duck? And you're like who let this? Like, you can't tell me there's not one person that's seen a real live goose and a real live duck in life and know they don't make those sounds, and someone wasn't like, hey, that's not right. Or you see like a white-tailed deer somewhere where they're, or an elk where they're not supposed to be in videos, and I'm just like, this could have been my job. I could have pre-watched all these shows, and every time I'm like, nope, that's wrong. That's not how that goes.
That happens way more than people think too.
All
Oh
the
yeah.
time.
Well, and that's one thing. I mean, we don't have to worry about, but the fake audio in this world. Holy crap! I mean,
Yep.
I don't think you're adding a bunch of sound effects, but the
No,
day we do, the day we do is the day we're not real anymore for sure.
yeah. I mean, I think I look back at it. The only time I've added audio besides like music or whatever, the turkey compilation kill shot. Greg, you remember when we were at turkey camp and killed the double with our bows?
My camera didn't record audio.
We didn't record the audio, so I took the audio of another turkey getting shot with a bow and subbed it in with the arrow impacts so we could still use it. But yeah, it was that was one heck of a hunt too.
That was fun.
Yeah, we should do a turkey camp or something.
We have to get this group in person. How are we going to do that? Or even
Deer
a
Classic.
Teams call? Well, yeah. We don't have anywhere to sleep yet, do we?
I'm sleeping in my house.
Well, I'm sure you are. I guess we're all coming there then if we can't find a hotel room.
It
That's
just
fine.
Camry can't come.
Yeah. Yeah, my puppy's not a
Who?
puppy enough.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I guess I do have a puppy again.
Yeah. Yeah. That Daisy?
That was Daisy. Yeah, when she was a puppy, and she died last. Oh, when did
During the Deer Classic,
Deer Classic last year, and she was 14.
March something. Creed, come here.
Yeah, that's
Watch
crazy.
this.
I don't know,
This is
you're frozen, so we can't see anything.
Yeah, now yeah.
for real. This is like 45 inches tall. Creed, come here. Come on, up here. Come on.
I got
Go.
nothing.
Come on.
I'm
Really?
waiting for it.
Oh, there you go.
Frozen.
You can't see.
Nothing.
What? All right.
Yep.
All right, get down.
Crappy T-Mobile.
Get down.
Screenshot.
Get down. How long has it been like that? Forever?
Like a minute or two.
As soon as you said
No.
dog's name.
Yeah. It's done it like 2 or 3 times, but we just let it go.
Yeah. No. There, you're back.
Sorry, guys.
It's fine.
Elon Musk, please bring me internet.
Did you order it?
No. No.
He's about
I'm not to that point yet, but I have heard people are happy with it, but it's very expensive.
Yeah, I live out in the sticks too, and I finally got BTWI, bits of wireless internet technology, and it's kind of a site to site situation, and it's pretty quick. I mean, it's way better than what we used to have.
So I don't want
Nice.
to go down a rabbit hole, but that's what I had in that hailstorm. It wasn't that storm, but there was one right after that. It smoked our tower where we get that from. And the company that provides it said, nobody's spending money on this anymore. We're all investing in rural fiber, which I'm all for, but I'm on like the 15-year plan for that. So we literally went from pretty decent line of sight internet like what you're talking about to nothing at all. So we're on cellular right now, which I mean, for what it costs, I can't complain. But yeah, anyways, that's, you never know what you have till it's gone. And in our case, that line of sight, Greg, if that thing gets smoked by lightning, you might be looking for something else. But I don't think you need to worry about internet where you're at now. You need to worry about internet at where your forever place might be. Did you
Yeah.
look into that at all?
That's not too far down the road. It's probably even got better line of sight. So, but it's funny
Good.
that because before we started tonight, there was a huge crack of thunder and lightning that Jen called, and she was freaking out. So get maybe some. So, but hey,
That's fun.
maybe let's get you in studio. I got a couch you can crash on, and maybe we can hang out here or shed hunt or do something. Maybe even
Yeah.
get a full booth going. So do a podcast.
That'd be great. I think a handful of us need to talk about Deer Classic because I got some ideas and I don't know. We need to be different somehow. I mean, how many booths do you just walk by and I don't know. There's
Well-
some way that we can be different, and I
Yeah.
think
We'll be section, so we won't be blending in with the crowds.
Yeah. We're upstairs by the deer.
Jesse said he's gonna wear a chicken outfit costume, so we'll be different.
No.
I still think a 22-inch G2 will do it, but that's just me.
Could be. Yeah. I need to figure that out because I'm about 2 weeks away from ordering some stuff for it, so it gets here in time. I mean, we're less than 2 months away. So
Did you guys see that like gag hunter's gift that was basically a extra section of tine you can buy and put on each? I
You
think
should
that'd be pretty sweet.
buy that and put it on my deer.
right.
Yeah.
200 then.
Or mine, and then it could be like 145 or something.
There you go.
No.
I think Dylan's gonna have both of our deer done, hopefully by the Deer Classic, Jesse.
Yeah,
So
he said he was going to. He had to. I sent him a bunch of trail cam pictures of my buck so he could have his tine guy fix it. So
that's exciting. Dylan does a great job. I can't wait to see him. And we're gonna have those deer on Minnick Cedar Works. I think that's what Keaton's company is. He's
yeah, I think so. That's what.
Yep, that one back there and this one right here. Yeah, so we'll have a couple deer heads there, and maybe we'll have some swag, some apparel you guys can buy. Jesse,
Yep.
hats. Greg's wearing one of the hats right now and the sweatshirt. So we'll see what we have, but we're excited to go to the Deer Classic. This will be our first year up by the sheds and kind of where they score the deer up in that kind of area. So for the 30 people that are watching this, stop by, say hi. We have some more podcasts that'll drop before then.
Yeah, lot more details. We'll get stuff more in a row of exactly what's going on by then. So
well, should we
perfect.
past my bedtime?
I know. I saw
Success.
that doe's still in my back of my truck.
It's cold
So-
enough out.
Figure the locker.
I got a hanger. I'll cut her. I got a hanger and skin her, and I'll cut her up tomorrow. So,
Well, the lights are going off.
all right. Thanks,
Yep.
Greg. And Greg.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Later.
Greg.
Good season. Bye.
Later.